course, that they don't miss the in-game experience, which is what technology also delivers. And
Okay.
then the last piece was you can make money off of this technology platform. It's not just here's something nice for the fans or here's a little perk we put in that's cool technology. No, it was technology that they could actually market to their sponsors, the Bud Lights and the food and beverage partners and the Ford pickup trucks. And they could say, we're going to have your brand all over our television screens. And oh, by the way, we have 3,000 plus TVs throughout our stadium that will have your branding up there for a certain period of time. And you pay to have your brand exposed and marketed the way you want on those screens.
Okay,
Everything
that's
from yeah. So improve the fan experience, give them connectivity, and generate revenue for the teams was our selling pitch that we used for each one of them. But that's a real world example where we approached the ownership before they started breaking ground on a new stadium.
okay.
Took them to other venues. We deployed the technology, had them talk to the ownership there, had them talk to them about the partnership with Cisco, the business benefits of Cisco, and earn that trusted technology advisor role. And then we architected the solutions with all the consultants that the team hired and built all the technology that was going to support the stadium, which of course was an end-to-end Cisco architecture.
That's great. So this actually made me curious about something. So because you said that you approached them before they even started building the stadium, were you
Mhm.
one of the people who were basically deciding which clients to target? Did you identify the client?
Yes, we targeted. My responsibility was selling to all the new stadiums, so I had to identify when a new stadium was being built. I had to find an in with the ownership of that stadium, and in this case, it was the Minnesota Vikings, and I had to get a meeting somehow with somebody that's worth $4, 5, 6 billion, right? A billionaire, to have a conversation or at least get him to take a meeting with Cisco, to talk about technology.
Yeah.
So it was really,
Getting a
you know,
meeting with these really busy and rich people, executives was hard. Was there any project in which, everyone at Cisco was like, it's probably not possible to land a meeting or a deal with this client, but you personally made it possible? Well, did you have any such clients?
um, yeah, I mean, the Minnesota Vikings is an example of one where I personally scheduled a meeting with the owner. We got the meeting together. We went out and met with them. Then we got them to go to the Cowboys where we lined up executives from the Cowboys. We brought some
Okay.
executives from Cisco, and then we
Okay.
brought their executives. But I essentially brokered that meeting from the get-go.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
hey, I'm with Cisco, and you don't know us from Adam.
okay, great. Can you give me basically maybe an estimate, if not the real dollar amount, how much revenue were you able to bring in by basically bringing on board the Minnesota Vikings?
20 plus million.
20 plus million. Do you remember during this time in these 6 years, what was your biggest deal that you can take personal responsibility for?
Dallas Cowboys,
Okay, and what
and
was
I
the
would
story
say
there?
that was probably over 50 million.
50 million.
Yep.
What was the story there?
Same thing. They were building a new stadium. We approached Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, and basically he said, "You're building what you want to be the best," because that's Jerry Jones' attitude. He wants the best of the best. Um,
Okay.
and so we basically approached the Jones family, the ownership family of the Dallas Cowboys, prior to the construction of the stadium. Had those executive conversations, and then became the trusted technology advisor for the Cowboys, just like we did with the Vikings.
Okay, so I really like how you researched the attitude of the owner and then you basically acted accordingly.
Right. Found out
Um,
who they know and what circles they're in. And, you know, the nice thing about selling in the sports world is all these owners are big ego guys, right? They have billions of dollars, and
yeah,
everyone wants to have the better stadium for the fans to go to. They don't
yeah,
want to say, I just want to be as good as this guy. They want to have the best fan experience, the best stadium experience in the world. So all you have to do is convince them that they need to invest money in the technology to do that, and they'll spend a lot of money with you. And that's kind of what we did. Is after we won the Cowboys, then it was easy to win the Vikings. After we won the Vikings, it was easy to win the LA Rams new stadium and
yeah.
the Las Vegas Raiders stadium. So it's kind of compounds as you win deals. You get to reference those, you get to showcase those, and then leverage those.
That makes me curious. Who was your first client? Because I'm sure it was pretty hard to convince somebody for the first time ever.
First clients, I think it was a baseball team, and I want to say it was the Kansas City Royals.
Did you have was it challenging? Is, convincing somebody to invest in
Yeah,
something?
it was very challenging because the sports world is a pay-to-play game. So they actually think that, much like Budweiser pays them millions and millions of dollars to be the beer of choice in the stadium, they expect the technology companies to just give them the technology, and then we'll say it's from Cisco. We'll put your name up on the scoreboard. The problem with that is Cisco is not a B2C. We're not a consumer play. So we didn't want to advertise in all the stadiums because that didn't benefit us. Our target market were the people that were sitting up in the suites that were there. We're trying to sell to the businesses. We're B2B. And so we would explain that to the teams. And of course, they didn't care because they were used to having people write them checks all the day about, hey, you got to give us a sponsorship check. And we quickly realized that not only did we not want to be in that space of writing checks to sports teams, we knew that it wouldn't scale because once you write it to Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, you got to give it to everybody because these guys talk.
Yeah, you want them to write you checks.
We wanted them to write checks for the technology, but when we first did our initial deals, the teams very much expected us to give them the technology.
Yeah, for free.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how did you
There were technology companies out there that were giving that technology for free.
Okay.
But it wasn't a sustainable model, and those companies came and went. They went out of business. We had the deep pockets of Cisco, but we also had the restrictions of we're not writing sponsorship checks because we are a B2B play, not a B2C play, and we're not going to be advertising in the football stadiums and basketball arenas around the world.
So how did you overcome this challenge of establishing yourself not as a B2C but as a B2B company? How did you get these guys to buy the technology from you and not just say that it's free advertisement for you? How did you get them to buy it and make that investment when they're very stingy with the sort of thing and it's something unusual for them to spend money?
We provided them the expertise with not only the technology, but we hired sports marketing people on our team that would go in and meet with their marketing team and show them how to monetize the technology so that while we can't give them the technology, we can give them the goose that lays the golden egg as opposed to just giving them the golden egg. And so we went in and said, we'll have a long-term partnership with the Dallas Cowboys. Our team will help your team sell this and monetize it so that you can generate recurring revenue that you do not have today on all these screens that we're running, on all the Wi-Fi that you have in the stadium. We'll find a way for you to monetize that. And we paid for the investment tenfold. At the example of the Cowboys, when their initial investment was $20 million with us, we were generating $20 million of incremental sponsorship a year. So the payback was less than a year. And so far they've had the system for, I think it's 9 years now. So they've generated $20 million a year for the past 9 years off of our platform, off our technology.
Wow, that's great. So that was for Dallas Cowboys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. That it's great to have these numbers. Honestly, that's very impressive. So this was a hard thing that you did, and then you
Well,
so
one other thing that I will say about that, I don't know if I put this in there, but the sport and entertainment vertical, Cisco was doing zero in. We were not selling technology. We were not generating revenue by selling to these sports teams when the vertical started. So we literally grew that vertical from zero to $600 million.
you have it here at $650 million per
Mm-hmm.
year. That's great. And you can take responsibility for a lot of that because you would be
North
accountable.
America,
Yeah,
correct. And I
great.
would say, not that it matters, but North America typically accounted for 65 to 75% on average of the overall $650 million number. So we were a very big portion of that. And then our counterparts in EMEA and Asia Pac and those places generated revenue too. But
Great, because we're making a comparison with North America with other regions, and we're showing that with your other people in the same place as you were making a lot more. You were doing a lot more. Your contribution, being 65 to 75%, it's a huge number, and it's great. It's very impressive to show.
yeah, I mean, truth be told, there's more stadiums in the United States probably for sports than there are in, EMEA or Asia Pac. But yes, that's true.
Yeah, oh, I understand that, but we can still say that you're responsible for us. So what I had in mind was that I'm sharing this with you just so I know that this is accurate. That you were responsible for 65 to 75% of the 650 billion business per year that Cisco the global sports and entertainment vertical was bringing in.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, and just to touch on the leadership aspect of this, obviously I'm sure you were leading teams. What was the typical size of a team that you were leading, and did you ever run through any leadership issues?
I would say that the typical size of the team was about 5 to 6.
Okay,
So led a team of sales and sales engineers or architects, between 5 and 6 of those covering all the United States.
okay, and then they had coordinates.
They had what?
So they also had people reporting to them, and these 5 to 6 people were reporting to you.
No, they didn't have people reporting to them. We were a very lean crew. So there was literally 5 to 6 people covering all North America. And then we would work with the Cisco account teams on the ground, for example, in Dallas or in Minnesota. And we were the subject matter experts that brokered the deal, got the meeting with the ownership, sold the solution. And then the local account teams did, just the traditional Cisco engagement, which is really not much. Pretty much
Okay,
we were the subject matter expert
yeah.
for that.
So you were basically collaborating with local teams for this. So I see this as a very high functioning.
Collaborating with local teams, collaborating with local partners, with channel partners, and collaborating with consultants as well as the teams. So
Okay.
we were kind of, the best way to describe it is we were the subject matter experts that were the technology general contractor, if you will, where we kind of pulled together everybody that had a say in the decision making, which is the people constructing the stadium, the owners that will be occupying the stadium, the partners that are bidding on the stadium, and all the technology vendors.
Okay. I understand. So basically, what I see, the team that you were leading, I see it as a high performing, high functioning team. While you were assembling or training these, did you train these individuals? Because they were under you, right?
Yes. In some cases, I trained some of the new people, and in other cases, they were my peers. So
Okay. Did you face any issues within the team? Because I'm sure you guys had so much going on. There were very few people.
no, we were all on one common goal. So we were all compensated on everything that was sold into North America. So we all worked together. So
Okay.
if there was a stadium on the West Coast, I'm based out of Arizona, I would traditionally handle that. If there was a stadium in New York, my teammate would handle that out of New
Okay.
York.
Okay. So you guys had basically regions within North America assigned.
Correct.
Okay.
There
And
was
then
about 5 people covering the U.S., and we tried to do it geographically, but some cases, if somebody had a relationship with a team or a stadium, they would work that. But
yeah, so I'm
we
sure.
pretty much, it was a team coverage model with a team incentive and goal
Okay,
quota.
great. That's great. So just one last question about this bullet. Successfully closed 3 key franchises, and then you give the names of all the teams, and then it says and 30 plus venues. Since you said that you had over 100 clients, can I make this 100 venues, 100 plus venues?
Yes, you can.
Okay, great. So was this all? Do you think that we've covered everything that you've done in these 6 years, or was there something else that you want to mention?
Uh,
Actually, I'm so sorry. Uh, I think I really want to talk about the bullet with 160% plus percent achievement goal for United States and Canada. So because you were working as a team and you finished at 205, so the goal was 160 plus and you finished at 205%. How much can you take responsibility for? Because you're a team.
um, I want to make sure I understand that question. So you said, look at here.
Do you want me to
Oh,
repeat the question?
yeah, no, okay. So on the 160% achievement of goal for 13, 14, 15, and 16,
Mm-hmm.
that was my goal. So while we had a team goal and we were all compensated off of that, we all had individual goals as well.
Oh, so this is your
So
individual goal.
I was 140% of my number of contribution to that number.
Okay.
And then the Chairman's Club Award, that is where I was at 205% of my quota. And
Was
that
this
is
on all your teammates?
only, no, just me. Individual, and only the top 1% of Cisco sales force goes to Chairman's Club every year.
Okay.
So you can do the math. If it's the top 1%, and we have 20,000 salespeople, there's 200 salespeople get to go to that.
Yeah, that's great.
So we should say that as the Chairman's Club is the top 1% of the company.
And then you won.
I won the Chairman's Club, correct.
And you won it consecutively from 2013 to 2016.
No. We need to just, I can see where that could be worded that way or construed that way, but basically I was over 160% of my goal on FY 13, 14, 15, and then in 16, FY 16 is the one year that I won the top 1% or Chairman's Club.
Okay, great. And that was the year that you finished at 205%.
Mm-hmm.
So my earlier question was that because you all team members had individual quotas, and the year that you won 205%, I'm assuming that this was that you did the best among all of them. So if you just comparison of your performance with others.
Say that again.
I was just saying that if you make a comparison of your performance with your teammates, you were doing better, especially the year that you won.
Oh, I was the only person from the sport and entertainment team that went to Chairman's Club.
Okay.
I was the
All of
one
you,
person selected from our team to go to Chairman's.
okay. Just 2016 or for 13, 14, and 15 as well?
No, 13, 14, and 15, I was over 160% of my quota.
Okay.
In most cases, I was the top. Yeah, I would say I was the top. I was definitely the top performer for all of those years. The only year I got selected for Chairman's Club is when I was 200%, and I was the only one to go.
Okay, that's great. So that's what I want to just ensure that you were the top performer from your team, and then you won in 2016. That's great.
That is correct. So top performer for all those years, 160% of plan for quota, and then FY16, top 1% in Cisco's entire sales force.
Okay. Okay, great. Um, and then I wanted to ask you, while we were talking about the clients, was there any client who, despite being told all the benefits, and you said that we're going to monitor, it will help you monetize these products and services, they were still not convinced, and you had to maybe do any additional offering of value additive services, or was there any upselling or cross selling involved, that really got you highlighted? Wow, he did a really good job.
I mean, there was a tremendous amount of negotiating in every single deal because the sales cycle on these was a year plus.
Yeah.
Is there any deals that? Yeah, I mean, nothing that I can come to, think of that we had to do something outside of that, like, write a sponsorship or something?